Yes, good day, good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching this video. I will just say before we start, I would like you guys to subscribe, not to miss our next video. I would like you to like the video, to comment, and to share so that many people might join the platform. Today I'll be coming to the second part of my video, talking about my life, my experience, and how I go through to South Africa. All this series of video is to encourage South African that if those one who have courage to do so, because it's not everybody that have that courage to migrate and to face challenges. I'm here to explain to you the positive side and the negative side when you travel and go to another country to trying to find a living and to go back and build your own country. As I say, South Africa is a product of migration. You will see today that we are starting to lack leaders. We are starting today to lack some people that can even hold some other politicians also. Because if you realize from Mandela to Thabo Mbeki, excuse me, they were still product of migration. They studied out of the country. They study the history of other parts of the African country. They just like a product of migration. If you go to the history, you see white people. The white people also, they migrate to South Africa. They use their knowledge and their skill that they have in their European country. They come and implement it to South Africa to make South Africa grow. That was still a people that they migrate to come. So that's those positive side of the migration. It brings you idea of challenge. So now in this second part that we continue, we stop on the side where I find my first job in South Africa in Bruma. When I started working in Bruma Lake, I was living in 35 Riley Street in Yeoville. As I was saying previously, it's the house opposite the Times Square. The last time I passed to that area, it was looking like it became like a bar. That house has been transformed to a bar or a restaurant or something like that. But I was living there in those 1990s. It was a townhouse just opposite Times Square. Now, just to say how the place was on those days, before I will tell you exactly about my stay in that area. When I arrived, the Yeoville, the Riley Street and the Rocky Street, that main route, I will tell you that in those days there was not a single black person walking on those streets. Those streets was only white people staying in Yeoville. Those one who was there those days, they can maybe put it on the comment section what I'm saying, just to acknowledge what I say. So that most of the time, us as black, those days, to walk in Yeoville, we were sometimes feeling intimidated because we didn't see most of our people also walking along of the street. But meanwhile, I would say that if you try to use those routes who are going maybe to Fortescue, those one who I'm talking, those one who know Yeoville, they will exactly know those streets that I'm talking about. Those Fortescue Road and those the road for the police station, those roads was quite dangerous those days, because us black that was living to those area, when you're trying to use those streets, it was so quiet, because before in Yeoville, I would tell you that when you stand in one side of the street, you can see the other side. I would say if I stand to the Times Square, I'll be able to see the road in Rocky Street, because there was nobody on the road. The road was clean. There was only white people or sitting in Times Square drinking or just around. Us black, we was walking by foot. So that by coming now from Bruma Lake, most of the time, coming to Raleigh Street, we was facing a challenge those days. Challenge of what? Challenge of robbery. We was most of the time robbed. It was difficult to use those streets that are crossing around Yeovil, maybe going to Fortescue or going to the side of Berea. So that it was a little bit difficult for us on those days. That was the part that was there. It was a little bit challenging because there was nobody walking on the street, and it was tough for us. So that working in Bruma, I was, if I tell you the salary, maybe those days you're just going to a little bit laugh, because when I was working I was helping someone to sell, and how much the person was paying me per week, I was having 150 rand every week. But I would say that 150 rand in those 1995, 94, I would say it was not a bad money, because where I was staying, I was paying my room. I was not a room, because we was staying in one room, having maybe 2 or 3 beds, where everybody was renting a bed. I was renting one bed to 250 rand every month. And even then, I didn't know anything about rental, a flat. Maybe if I can go and apply myself to get a opportunity to have my own flat and so forth. So that I didn't know all those things. So I have to pay that amount. And where I was staying, everybody have his own turn to cook. We was about 10 inside the house. I would say that I was the youngest, because I didn't experience a life to stay alone. I left my family. I was with my parents before I left. I was just a student, and I just arrived. And now I am here. I'm selling to someone that I didn't know sell before. I have to learn to sell. I have to learn to cook for everybody. We was about 10. There was no way to say that if my turn to cook, I must learn. That is where I start also to be with people and to cook. That is one of the things that I start to learn. So that working there, I was saving. Well, I stayed there in Raleigh Street for about 2 to 3 months only. After 3 months, I start to inquire to get another place, because it was not conducive for me to stay inside one room with the 3 bed where everybody was so that there was no privacy for me. I decided that I have to start looking for another place where to stay. After 3 months, I find a flat where I share with a friend. It was a 2-bedroom that was located in 15 Fortescue Garden in Fortescue Road. Those one who knows, they will know the building itself. I was staying 14 Fortescue Mansion. Moving there after 2-3 months, I went to Fortescue and still be doing my job of sale at Bruma. But what was inside my mind is that I did not change the focus of where I want to achieve in life. That is something that is very important. No matter difficulty you face, make sure that you don't divert from your goal, it's very important, because sometimes there are people that when it becomes difficult, they will decide to say, okay, now let me do something else, let me do this and do that. At the end, you forget exactly what was your dream, what was your goal. So that you must have a goal and you must stick there no matter how difficult it is. Make sure that you don't change your focus about that. So that I continue selling in Bruma and living in Fortescue. In Fortescue, it was just a room that I have inside a 2-bedroom flat. I start having my own room. I would say those days I paid the room by himself. I was paying 250 on the other side per bed. But when I moved to Fortescue, I was paying 300 for my room. 300 for a room, flat. I don't think that today maybe somebody will be able to. You can just say in the comments how much cost if you are sharing a room in that area, Fortescue, in Yeovil. How much is going to cost a one room inside a 2-bedroom flat? I was paying 300 in those days per month. So that I continue to on my dream, on my goal, to achieve exactly. My dream was what? It was trying to go back to school and continue. But before I must get there, you must realize that I start to doing my sell to raise cash, to trying to find a way of living. So that on this one here, we are going to move to our third part. If you just join us, please subscribe, like the video, and join us on the comment section if you have anything to add to what me I'm saying. For this note, let's meet to our third part to continue our discussion about the good and the bad in migration. For this note, I will say see you to the other side. May God bless. Ciao.